Good morning. This is Professor Craig Wilson, Foundations Coordinator and Professor in the Department of Visual Arts at the University of North Georgia. This is the second video in our series that focus on the Foundation Portfolio Review. Again, an important milestone as you move from your lower level classes into your upper level classes in the Department of Visual Arts. In this video, we'll be asking and answering the questions, what is an e-portfolio? And number two, how do I create a professional e-portfolio? I just want to remind you, because I'm getting a lot of questions on this, you only have to review for the Foundation's Portfolio Review after you have completed or are currently completing your Foundation area courses. Again, you can go back and look at the first video, but if you have completed or are currently in the last semester of completing the Foundation area courses, Art 1010, Observational Drawing, Art 1020, Design and Color Theory, and Art 1030, Three-Dimensional Forms, you're ready for review. If you're not completing them this semester, haven't completed them, if you plan on completing them in the next few semesters, you don't have to do the Foundation's Portfolio Review. And I want to bring another point to bear on this. You only have to do this once if you pass the review. You don't have to do it every semester from now until the end of your degree. You only have to do it once. If you pass the review, then you're set free from having to participate in the Foundation's Portfolio Review. If you don't pass, you have one more chance the following semester. So the first question was, what is an e-portfolio? E-portfolios are a digital collection of a person's work, achievements, and reflections used to showcase skills and learning over time. It serves as a personal website, or in our case, a PDF that could include various artifacts like documents, images, and videos. It's often used by students to demonstrate their academic and professional growth to potential employers or graduate schools. And that's just a random AI definition that you are provided with if you type in what is an e-portfolio. And I think that's a pretty good definition. Now, depending on who you talk to, they would say an e-portfolio is a website specifically. But again, I want to emphasize that in our case, the minimum that we're asking for is a PDF or a PowerPoint that's been converted to PDF that you will submit by the due date, which is at the end of the month on the 31st. Okay, so probably the most important question is, what is in your Foundation's Review portfolio? Well, we already know that it's work from observational drawing, 2D design and color, and three-dimensional forms. Again, here's the main page for the Foundation's Portfolio Review, and you can see under Select Works for your website or PDF e-portfolio, you have 3 to 4 drawings from Art 1010, Drawing 1, 2 to 3 works from Art 1020, two-dimensional design and color, and 2 to 3 works from Art 1030, three-dimensional design. Each image should include a caption with the following information: a title, the materials used, the dimensions in inches, and the semester that you created it. Very important is that you have the course that the work is from. We're going to be grading each course's work, so indicating what course the work comes from. In fact, grouping the works by course is fundamental to our faculty being able to easily understand what they're reviewing. Now, you'll notice that this portfolio should be a PDF, and we'll go over some of these particulars about the structure of the PDF momentarily. But I do want to roll down here to the bottom of the page, and you can see that there's actually uh, the rubric that faculty will be looking at when they're grading your portfolio located with this button. So you just click on that button and you can see a list of the requirements that faculty are looking for students to have fulfilled, shared with you. So if you notice here for observational drawing, portfolios should demonstrate craftsmanship with several of the following materials. Not all, but several, including graphite, charcoal, Conte, ink, colored pencil, pastel. Not all classes use all of these materials, so we're just looking for several of the materials. So, for instance, graphite or pencil, charcoal, Conte crayon, ink. Now, it doesn't have to be all of them, it just has to be several of them. We're also looking for skills being demonstrated. So, drawing from life for observational drawing, still lives, line contour or tonal drawing, proportion, scale, perspective, space, value, light and shadow, composition. Mastery of most of these skills is required for you to pass the portfolio. We do the same for 2D design and 3D design. Again, you don't have to have all of these materials or demonstrate all of these skills in order to pass your portfolio review. You only need to have several of the following materials contained within the portfolio and demonstrate mastery of most of these skills. If we move down here, you can actually see the scoring rubric that faculty are using. You will receive a 1 through a 4 rating for each of the classes, 1 being unsatisfactory, 4 being exemplary. Students are expected to maintain an average of 2 for all 3 classes in order to pass the portfolio review. So again, just to return, what's in the portfolio? 2 to 3 works from 3D forms, 2 to 3 works from 2D color, and 3 to 4 drawings from observational drawing. Okay, so there's some specific requirements for the portfolio. The first requirement is that it's a PowerPoint portfolio that you convert to a PDF and save as a PDF. And we want it to be a certain size. The document should be sized at 11 by 17 inches with a resolution of 72 dots per inch. And the total file size should not exceed 5 gigabytes. If it's bigger than that, we have problems with uploading and we have problems with storage. Once you've created your PowerPoint, you want to start with a cover page that includes your full name, the degree you are pursuing, and your area of concentration. So if you're a BA in studio art, that's the degree you're pursuing. If you're an art associate's degree, then that's the degree you're pursuing. If you're an art educator, that's the degree you're pursuing. Now, the second part of that should be your concentration. And many of you may not know what your concentration is yet. But eventually you're going to focus on a specific media or technique. So for instance, you might become a graphic designer. That's your area of concentration. Or a digital artist. That's your concentration. Or a ceramist. Or a painting and drawing concentration. Or a sculpture concentration. Or a photography concentration. So that's what concentration means. If you don't know your concentration, then you can just say something like general art. Following that page, you're going to include images of your work from the foundation courses, and each slide should feature only one image. And each slide should be labeled with captions that provide the title, the medium, the dimensions, and the date in that order. So the title of the project, the medium used, the dimensions of the project in inches, and the date the project was completed. You don't have to be specific with the date. You can just put fall of the year or spring of the particular year that you took the course. Finally, you want to save your work, as I've already mentioned, as a PDF, and you want to use a particular structure for the way that you title it. It should be first name, last name, all one word, underscore FPR for Foundation Portfolio Review underscore semester year dot PDF. So for instance, Jane, capital J, Doe, capital D, all one word, underscore, FPR, underscore, and then the season, fall or spring, and 2025, depending on which semester you're submitting. So either fall or spring. So here's the title page. You have the name of the portfolio, Foundations Review Portfolio. You have the name of the student, Jeremiah Scott Morgan. By the way, thank you to Mr. Morgan for allowing us to use your portfolio as a demonstration for other students. The degree, Bachelor of Arts in Studio Art, and the concentration, Digital Art. So a separate slide with no images, just title information, or if you will, cover information. Then you have the first category, Art 1010 Observational Drawing. Now notice that his name is underneath it. This is so that the reviewers are constantly reminded of whose portfolio they're looking at. When you're a professional, you want to make it easy for those you're communicating with to know exactly what they're looking at. You want it to be organized, you want it to be consistent, you want the spelling and grammar to be good, even the spacing should be consistent between words. So here's the first image in the Art 1010 Observational Drawing class. Is that the same? Yes. Is the name still there? Yes. The only thing that's been added is the image and the title. So really all you have to do is copy this slide, paste it, and then insert your image and the title information. We've got drapery, which was the subject of this particular image, charcoal with a comma in between. Notice that drapery is italicized. That's because that's the title of the piece. Another comma, 18 by 24, which is the height by the width in inches. Inches are communicated by using quote mark. Then you have another comma and then spring 2023. So that's when this was created, in the spring semester of 2023. Just a word on the image. The image looks very good. It's cropped well. We're not seeing anything behind the image, any background peeking through. The image doesn't have shadows on it, doesn't have a finger holding it down. The color is good, in this case black and white. It corresponds with what the page would actually look like if we saw it in person. The lights are white and the blacks are black, so it doesn't look too low in contrast, or it's not a bad exposure, it's not blurry, it's clear. You need to be professional with your images. Here's another drawing from Observational Drawing. Again, the title and the artist name roll over, and then you come down here and you've got the title in italics, reflective and transparent objects, the medium, the height times width in inches, and spring of 2023. Just a note on this height times width, if it's a vertical instead of a horizontal page like this one is, let's look at a vertical. So if this was an 18 by 24 inch drawing, it would be 24 by 18. It's not, it's a 12 by 9 inch drawing, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Depending on the orientation, if it's an 18 by 24 page that's vertically oriented, which none of these are, you're going to reverse those measurements. Height times width, height times width, height times width. So I'm looking at the portfolio. Everything looks fairly consistent. And then I come here and I see, oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? There's an orphan, meaning this word is on its own line. So I want to correct that. So we can play around. If I pull this back, that looks better. Or I could leave this here. And since this word's a little longer, I can have it on its own line. But just like when you're writing a paper, you don't want a single word or a punctuation mark on its own line. You make adjustments so that it's clear and organized and refined. So next we have a title slide for Art 1010, Design and Color Theory, Jeremiah Scott Morgan. And that carries over through the works within the portfolio. Titling is the same, image looks good, well cropped. By the way, in this particular portfolio, there's a gray background. I've seen students do white. I've seen students do black. I think gray or black is probably best because if you have a white background here and a white page, sometimes you aren't aware of the edge of that particular image. For instance, if this background was white, let's look at it. Actually, let's look at it with this slide. So if I change this background to white, you can't see the edges of the field. It just becomes the center image. And if the margins are important, you want to be able to see them. And you can find this under Format, Slide Background. All right, continuing through. We've got 3 separate images. This particular project looked at the Notan, which is a technique of design, black and white, and the student had to come up with an asymmetrical, radial, and symmetrically balanced image. So you can see here 3 different images on one slide that correspond with what the project was. You want these to be even. You want them to be centered relative to one another, not just randomly thrown in. So really take care of the design of your slideshow, your e-portfolio. So with 2D design, we've got 1, 2, 3 images. That's the maximum number. Here we have 2 images versus 3. And then finally, Art 1030. With three-dimensional works, you want to have 3 different views. So this is the same project, but a frontal view, a left side view, a right side view. That way the viewer can really get an awareness of what this 3-dimensional form looks like from a variety of angles. Here's another image from the 3-dimensional design forms portfolio. All right, so this portfolio looks pretty good in its organization, in its consistency. Oh, one last note, with 3-dimensional images, you'll have 3 different dimensions. Height times width times depth. I don't like that. Let's go back and make this consistent. So we're going to move the dimensions down to their own line. If you wind up with spacing issues, you can come up to Home. You can go here and adjust the spacing. If you have trouble, you might need to go into line spacing options. Right here is where the problem is, and put 0 and then click OK. And then I want to move this down to the bottom of this text box so that I've got consistency. So this is height times width from left to right, times depth. So this sculpture is 12 inches tall, it's 6 inches wide, and it's 9 inches deep. All right, so once you've created your portfolio, let's go back. You want to convert it so that it's sized at 11 by 17 inches with a resolution of 72 dpi. So if we come to design, we'll find slide size, go to page setup, make sure that it's 17 by 11, click OK. And then we want to make sure that we're saving it with this format. So I'm just going to copy and paste this example. Come up to Save As. Change the file format to a PDF. And all you have to do is put in your name, make sure that FPR follows an underscore and is not capitalized, and that you have the date. The first two letters would be SP if it's in the spring, FA if it's in fall. And then I'm going to just save this to the desktop. Then we can look at the file image, or sorry, the file size. I'm not sure how you do it on a PC, but with a Mac you hit Command I, and you can see that it's 3.7 megabytes. That's well under the 5 gigabyte size. Let's go ahead and open it up, check it over. So here's the beginning. Looks very consistent. So that's the end of letting you know what your portfolio should be looking like, how its structure should be, how you can refine it so that it looks professional. Again, I want to stress that the photographs of your work should be as good as you can make them. And if you need help, talk to your faculty. All of our faculty are aware of how to take professional images of your artwork using your phone, so you don't need a fancy camera. In the next video installment, we'll talk about how to submit these portfolios by the due date, which is the 31st of this month by midnight. Again, if you have any questions, please ask your faculty member and or email me at craig.wilson@ung.edu.